What's up, Leafs fans? Welcome back to another Leafs Nation After Dark. I'm Zack Phillips, and tonight we're going to be breaking down game number 18 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season, defeating the Washington Capitals here tonight 4-3 in overtime. And not just 4-3 in overtime, but a 4-3 comeback victory. 3 goals in the third period. 2 called off. I guess 4 goals in the third period. 2 called off there. A Nylander goal. A Marner goal to tie it. Send it to OT. And then Johnny T digs deep. Finds the amulet. Finds the power of the amulet to go all the way down the other end. And get himself on the board there. If we... The reason this thing came on late, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I was going live. And then I think that it just wasn't acknowledging that it was there. And then it was live on Twitter and it was not live on YouTube. I was talking for a couple of minutes and I got a text being like, "Are you live?" I was like, what is going on? Yeah, I'm live. And then now we're here. So we started back again. We should be figured out and should be good to go here now. But yeah, I mean, what a win here tonight for this Leafs team. I was honestly at a point here where I wrote down in my notes, I write down as everything goes, what's happening with the game, what's happening with the team, following along everything. And I was sitting here being like, after the second period, what is wrong with this group? What is happening? And then, and then you come out for the third period and it's like, it's a different game. It's a different team. I'm questioning the leadership group. I'm questioning the decisions made in the off season. If there's going to have to be big changes made, why these D pairs are together, why the forward groups are together. Like, what is wrong with these guys? What is wrong with this group? And then you come back and you win that one. A second night of a back-to-back on the road in front against a Washington team that has been an absolute freight train. You shut down Ovi for the most part there. Joseph Woll makes an insane save at the end of the game, point blank on Alex Ovechkin. That actually leads to the Tavares goal, nonetheless. This team, why can you not make things easy? Why can it not just be roll into Washington and get it done? I mean, I'm happy as hell that you won this game here tonight. I'm happy that you got it done. You found a way. You battled back. You climb into this one. Honestly, you know what? I was going to talk about the leadership group and what's wrong with these guys. But it's Matthew Knies who steps up. This is the kid in his second year with the team. And he's the one leading this charge. There's a lot to get to here tonight, and I was going to be doing this show completely on my own, and then someone said, "You know what? Is there anyone booked? And can I find my way into this one? Is there anyone booked, and can I come on here and wear my Matthew Knies jersey and talk about how much I love this kid and the charge that he led to tie the game and send it to overtime here tonight?" And that man would be Jay Rosehill. Rosie, welcome to Leafs Nation After Dark yet again. How you feeling after that big win tonight?
I had to beg and plead to come on this show, buddy. You're a tough ticket in town. But, man, have you seen a Leafs comeback like that in a while or what?
No. Honestly, no, I haven't. And it's like you did all the right things to get there, too. Obviously, Washington kind of let their foot off the gas a little bit, but holy shit, it's the Leafs putting pressure on, forcing turnovers. A lot of it, I mean, we can really only kind of attribute to the third period there, but it's like everyone kind of gets involved in that one, and it starts with the fourth line and the Lorentz goal, no goal. It just, you said we're not going to die. You didn't let it go out of here tonight just quietly, because if they played the way they did in the third period, the way they did in the first two, holy shit, the conversation on this show right now would have been a lot different.
Yeah, and you can't expect to play like your utmost best, dominating the play for 60 minutes. You try to, but it doesn't always happen. I think that the Washington Capitals played quite a pretty well-rounded game all the way through and easily could have won that game. But the difference between, the Ottawa game and this game is the Leafs just showed character
Yeah.
and they continued on and they didn't just lay down and die or try to reinvent the wheel to see if they maybe have a chance to get back in. They just put the hammer down, knew they had to put their head down, their ass up, and they worked all the way through. I mean, Tavares looked good. Marner, have you seen him with that much speed ever? Like when he slings it and takes it wide and drives it to the net and funnels it to the net and is busting his feet. Sometimes he just got the wide legs going. He's just trying to kind of woo, see everything. And it's like, man, when it's not there, it sure isn't there. He gets on his horse, chips it behind guys, and just makes things happen. Matthew Knies, can't say enough about him, but just collectively as a team, they're not really known for digging out those comebacks and whatnot. And I mean, every team's going to find themselves in a third period down a goal or two.
Mm-hmm.
Can you try to get a point out of there? Can you come back and win some of those games? They're not known for it, but that was it in spades.
And the Capitals, by the way, are no scrub team. Like that's
Absolutely
a team that's
not.
rolling right now. They came into this one, I believe it was 10-4 on the season. You got Ovi's rocking, Strome, like their first line. You got McMichael, that kid playing unbelievable. The defense is looking great. Like you just came into there in their building on the second night of your back-to-back, of which you traveled there to do. Laid a stinker the night before. Everyone who's a Leafs fan goes into this one's like, you should expect from a normal NHL team a fight here tonight from the Leafs. Probably not going to happen. And then they came and shoved it up our asses and said, yeah, you don't expect that from us. Watch what we're going to do. And mind you, 40 minutes, not the greatest, but the last 20, which that's what got it done. Kudos to them, man. I mean, I can't be more applauding of that victory and the comeback they had here tonight.
Yeah, for sure. And it was an odd game. Like, and there's a lot of talk about the reviews and is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? I just think that's just a calamity to have all that stuff happen in one game. I understand it's a double-edged sword between, are we going to make sure we get the call right? And that always sounds like a great idea. And then, but you have to go do that. And then when people go and do that to get it right, people complain and the camera angles aren't perfect. Sometimes you can't see exactly what the last thing the puck touched. I just think it was an odd game that 4 things went under review if you count Matthew Knies running into, who's that, Dowd? I mean, talk about putting your head up your ass and going right down the slot as if you cannot be touched. Knies does everything in his power like not to hit the guy, and he's just surprised that he just gets dummied. You got your head right down, flying through with the, like, is there any onus on anyone to protect themselves anymore? Like, he's obviously probably going to be pissed thinking it was cheap or something. I mean, Knies can't even do what he wants to jump over the guy. Like, get up and look at what's in front of you. These guys just go woo and expect the whole seas to part for them.
Well, he also did the Knies did the like
totally.
I'm getting out of the way. Yeah,
like, try to absorb this guy who that was kind of weak. So that happens. The goaltender interference 1 and 2 disallowed are pretty wild to happen all in one game. I'm in favor of them getting it right, but I agree with Buddy on the after show that you gotta staff the people upstairs, have a couple of people to look at the TVs to see every goal, if that even might be challenged, get ahead of the curve and start looking at it. And obviously they have to have some kind of official status, but at least get the best view for that play up. Like, do everything you can to expedite the process. I mean, NHL, what's that going to cost you? Let's get them in the situation room and get a couple people to try to get ahead of it so that it's not a 2.5 minute review every time for nights like this where you got to do it multiple times.
I mean, this is a side note, not on the game. I genuinely believe there should be what you said, people just watching this shit anyways. Like, why the fuck do we have to call them 2 minutes after the goal happens? Then they review it. Then they talk about it. They debate. And then they send it back. It's like, okay, this is just a waste of time. You should just be watching anyways. And then also, I think that the call on the ice should not really play that much of a factor into those people's decision. Like, it should go to them and they should be able to say yes or no. It's a side note, but like, I don't know. That's how I think it should work. There's a reason
Why
I'm
not?
talking on
Why are
camera,
these
not in there.
these
But
caveats on the rules? Unless this was the call, then they can go back. Only if, I guess, when they get the minds together in the summer, all these scenarios come up and they try to get it right. But agreed, like, just get an official in the situation room to say, no, totally missed this one. The stick didn't even touch the guy.
yeah,
You can't do 4 minutes for high sticking there. I just get it right. It's all
yeah.
you want. And I think the NHL is taking a step in the direction. I've seen twice now a major, or at least a double minor penalty get called back. Sorry, that's no penalty whatsoever. I mean, growing up, that was unheard of.
I want to talk about some specifics of tonight's game. First, let's go to Mitch Marner. He has played really well. Boston, Detroit, Montreal. Fell off a cliff against Ottawa, with the whole team did. So I'm not pinning that on him. I want to make that clear because people in the chat will get really mad at me, and you as well, if I don't clarify that one. The whole team did, but did not have a positive impact on the game last night. Tonight, I was like, it wasn't like he was bad tonight, but he wasn't really making much of an impact through kind of the first 40. There was spurts where you saw it and it was like, there he is. And then in the third period, it's just like, oh, fuck, watch this, and turns it on. Yeah. It's like you said, it's like he decides to be hard to knock off the puck. Guess what? No one can get the puck off him. He decides he's going to wheel. No one can catch him. Like, unbelievable third period by Mitch here tonight. I don't want to focus on the negatives, honestly. What do you have to say about the way he's kind of stepped up here with Matthews out of this lineup and his ability here tonight? I mean, we can talk about the first 40, but in that third period to say, let's go, boys. Like, I'm not letting us go down here without a fight tonight.
That's what you want out of your superstars, right? When nothing's happening through 20 and 40, you need those players to step up. The guys that are capable of getting 100 points and want $13 million, they have to step up in those third periods and say, watch this, and take control like Mitch did today. Like, if he did that a lot more often and just showed up and just exploded and, like you say, wheeled with speed and protected the puck and was just played a little bit with a little bit more edge and intensity like he did in that third period. Like, God, that's why we want you to do that, Mitch, is because of how effective you could be playing that way. But pull a playoff game up where he's doing that. It's kind of difficult. And instead of putting the hammer down, head down, ass up, I'm going to start doing all the things you just mentioned, he goes into more, pull up and let me just stick handle a bunch of times and looking around, scanning and try to see if I can sauce it to this guy coming in late. And that doesn't work, especially in the playoffs. That's the stuff that I get hot on Mitch Marner. That's why I have been an opponent of him at certain times with his game and question whether they should give him the bag and solidify the fact they're going forward with this core for the foreseeable future. That's why. But if you want to play like that, Mitchie, I'm all on board. I've always said you're a phenomenal hockey player. I've always said you just got to do a little more of, play on the edge a little bit more and stop with the softness and stop with the perimeter play. And he showed tonight that he can. Like, when he winds it up and just takes it with speed, and then, all right, you don't have a step on the D-man. Chip, you got all the speed in the world. Go around him, go get it, and then do your magic in the corners. Get behind the net. Make a play to the guy coming, like, get the puck, funnel it to the middle, like, all that stuff that led to success tonight, that guy can do in spades, and he's been playing great, and you've been seeing him do that stuff, and, like, bravo, continue on, Mitchie. I want to see more of that, and I want to see it even develop further to the point where he can access that type of play in the playoffs.
Rosie, another guy here who stepped up and a part of that leadership group, Max Entius Desmus, sent a super chat. He's making fun of people who were calling him out early, but he says, John Tavares is washed, with a clown face there. Johnny T has looked amazing here lately as well. I don't know if it's the amulets kicking in or what's going on for him, but what a game again here tonight from Johnny T. What a way to close that one out. I'll be honest, I don't know if you were thinking the same. In that period, the overtime period, when the puck went back to the D zone, I was watching, I'm like, this guy's fucked. Like, there's nothing in his legs. And it's not like it's not like a specific to him thing. They were just down in the O zone, had like 3 chances themselves, have to bust ass back the other way. I'm like, this thing is toast. Like, they got to get to the bench. Goes out on the breakaway. I'm like, oh my God, like, of all people to get this breakaway, it's him. He hauls ass down there, gets to it, cuts to the net, makes a nasty play, and finishes. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Johnny T has been really good as of late. I don't know. He seems to have found something here, but steps up in a big way for the boys here tonight to get this win.
Yeah, he was everywhere, man. He's so smart too, right? Like it showed up today and mostly the third period, but like when he's battling for those pucks and it's in kind of a, he's right in the high slot and he's got two guys on him, he'll lift a stick and find the puck and then come down with the back of that blade and knock it right to the Willie standing in the corner. He like wins the puck battles. He knows where the guys are. He's capable of finishing. Like, has he ever been blazing speed? He hasn't. He's always just been super smart and handy with the puck and very, very smart with his surroundings. He's got a really high hockey IQ and the ability to finish plays and to make plays. He's just not the fastest guy on the planet, but he's proving that he's one of those guys that can still get it done. I like to see him obviously still get it done. And, when he came to Toronto and they gave him that contract, everyone kind of knew, so what? We've got him. We know the last year or two of that contract, he's not going to be worth that, but who cares? That's a problem for later. That's what you got to do to get those guys, especially to get a John Tavares away from, his entire everything he knows in Long Island. And so he's in the last 2 years of his contract here last year and this year. And I mean, geez, he hasn't even fallen off that much. I mean, I'm not here to talk extension and stuff like that, but he's still very capable. He's a guy that you're going to go to in those situations. And if he gets an opportunity, he's probably going to get it done, right? Who's the guy that put us into the second round? The only guy who's done it in 20 years. John Tavares scores the big one. Like, he can show up and finish, man. He's got the stuff. So good to see that out of him as well tonight.
Rosie, you put a tweet here tonight, not too long ago, actually. You said, my wife has a crush on Knies. I think I might too at this point. I'm not going to give you any lead up or tea, nothing. I know you've got some things to say about this guy. Take the floor. Thoughts on Matthew Knies and how he played in the third period here tonight.
Well, apparently I'm not the only guy who's got that going on at home. So apparently he's a handsome fella, but I'm more concerned about the way he plays hockey, man. I just can't help but go back to when he signed out of college in Minnesota. Me and Nick interviewed him a couple of times, and I was just kind of impressed by, like, this guy's got that stuff, that charisma or that confidence or that understanding of what he's going out there to accomplish. And I just had this feeling, I'm like, I kind of think he's like ready. I kind of expect big things about him. I went and checked out his career and how he plays, what type of player he is. I'm like, this guy's a workhorse. He's that big and he's like a big power forward. And he didn't miss a beat coming into the NHL, made an immediate impact, and he just keeps getting better. Like today, he's everywhere, man. He's like, he can be the hardest worker on the team. He can forecheck like crazy and turn pucks over and hammer guys. Yeah. Once he gets that puck, that big body just protects it. No one's getting it. And then he can play with a high hockey IQ and play with any of the big boys, make the plays or finish the plays that they set up. He can spin and rip it. He's got a shot that can pick anything off. He's got hands and mitts, like when he just made that goalie look ridiculous on the Nylander goal. Or sorry, he made the D-man look ridiculous on the Nylander goal. That puck was damn near, it's all him. Good thing Willie's there to pat it in. But it's just like, I'm trying to figure out, what doesn't he do very, very well? Like, he does everything very well. And he's young, and he's just got this piss and vinegar about him that, you wish you could implant on so many other players to make them exponentially better. It's just, I don't think guys can say enough about him. And without him in the lineup tonight, despite the play from the Tavareses and from the Marners, they don't pull that out. Like, he was the engine on that train.
Yeah, and I mean, like you see in the chat here, Samurai said Knies gets me going. Taylor Ostler, he would be my hall pass. So there you go with that.
Are these some of the ladies on the thing, or just some?
One of them, I think still is a lady. I don't think Samurai. I think Samurai is just a little horned up after that one. But
boys, I mean, me too, buddy.
Yeah, it's the perfect encapsulation of like an all-around player, right? I mean, look at start with the play that he has where Nylander scores. It's the pressure on the forecheck, then underrated piece that's probably just going to kind of get swept under is the effort on the back check there to be able to actually catch up to Wilson as he's about to make the pass out of the zone, then have the recognition to turn around and intercept that one. Now, mind you, Wilson threw fucking hot and ready out there for Knies to grab, but I mean, he's in the right place at the right time because he's smart enough. He's working his bag off to get there, grabs it. I'm watching, I'm like, okay, he's going to shoot. Then I'm thinking, holy shit, he's going to force this pass. Neither pulls that one in, makes a nifty little move with great hands, and then flip into overtime. Before that, the tip in front takes away the eyes, gets the tip, like, nice play, obviously no goal. But then into overtime, there's a period of time where for like 20 seconds in a row, 30 seconds, he's like skating around circles. No one can get the puck off him, takes it. He's like, I'm going to drive the net, brings all this attention, dishes it off, gets back open. It's like, this kid's in his second year in the league, and he is a force to be reckoned with out there, man. Like, this is a guy who's putting people on notice right now.
And how about in overtime when he back checks, intercepts that pass that was going to that left-hander kind of in the high right slot there, gets the puck, gets to the neutral zone, goes to make a play, gets hauled down, draws a penalty immediately after. I mean, he's doing everything out there. And like you said, his second year in the league, he just has an awareness of how to be involved in plays and be a force and be a presence. And whether that's back checking, whether that's smart D zone, whether that's making that last little play under pressure in the neutral zone, whether that's ripping one home when someone feeds him, whether that's making, coming up with the puck when it's a 50-50 battle, spinning off and dishing it back door. He can just do everything. How about the Montreal game when he fucking destroys Slavkovsky?
Yeah.
Like, who lays the body like that in the NHL anymore? Does Revo lay the body like that? No. But Knies is our first liner, our net front peeper guy. Like, he does it all, man. And he's one of those guys, like, he's one of those guys where it's like, I feel okay building a statue for this guy already. Because it's like, name a guy that does all that shit. Usually it's some fucking Russian prick who comes in the first round and everyone's just, he lit up the KHL when he was 20. And then it's just like Yuri Talusti, like, sorry, it didn't work out. But Matthew Knies is doing everything and doing it well.
You're going to see that one a lot. That one's going to be clipped, Rosie. 100%.
Red, you get me going.
That was good. That was good. I like that. Fans, right? I like that, man. The other thing I want to get to here tonight, he's gonna fly under the radar for this one, but he plays in his 1,000th game. And even when I thought the Leafs were playing like shit, I thought he was having a good game. Like, I was watching him like, man, how does he still do this? I thought he Oliver Ekman-Larsson I'm talking about here. Sorry. I thought he had a tough night last night. It was just like his first game of the year. I was like, tough one for him. And then he pushes back here tonight. I'm like, this team is sleeping through two. He has one kind of questionable play there in the first period in the second period. I think it was on the second goal. Outside of that, he's got a really good night. Third period, he's driving the net. He's activating at the right time, involved in the offense. He's got an unbelievable stick, breaking up plays. So calm. Like, I mean, Rosie, watch him when he comes back and he takes the puck back around our blue line. And he's got pressure on him, just turns around, gets his back towards our end. He looks back up ice, scans everything, not forcing a pass out. The guy is just calm. He's poised. He's collected. I'm like, holy shit, we got this guy 3 years, $3.5 million playing in his 1,000th game tonight. But I thought OEL had a hell of a night here too.
Yeah, and I hope they had their hats and shirts and stuff like that and whatever. But I hope there's a bit of a theatrics for him back home when he plays at home, which sounds like there will be.
I hope so, yeah.
The 1,000th game is impressive. And they mentioned like when he's drafted and what happened, some health stuff. And I don't know, like I'm not going to act like I watched him every single night when he played in Phoenix by any stretch of the imagination. But when guys came here, I was like, dude, this guy's got a lot to give and he's got potential, does he not? And he's kind of what we need, is he not? And there were people that just knocked him and said, oh, he's going to come and help out. And I was like, well, like, again, I don't watch him every game, so other people, I assume, well, they must know something I don't, but I was always scratching my head. And then once he's playing, I'm like, dude, this guy's everywhere. He's everything we've needed. He's a adopted this playing style in Toronto immediately and was just what they want. Yeah, he's complemented by some other guys like Tanev out there. The way he plays defense and like he's just a defenseman, like him as well, phenomenal. And Connor Timmins, man, like for a guy who we were kind of like, who's gonna take this sixth spot? I watched him out there a fair bit today, and it's like just making sure on pucks and like on tough plays for a defenseman, like a loose one or a wobbler. You're kind of in between on backing out or pinching, and like times where you could get caught with your pants down. He seems to always be able to finish and to come out with the puck and make the play and keep it deeper or get it to his partner and just salvage the play. And he's doing that in spades too. But yes, OEL, I'm trying to figure out what he was playing like when all the naysayers were upset with that contract. I just don't get it, more so now than ever.
Yeah, I don't know if they just expect it. Like when he went to Vancouver, it was kind of where the problem started. I don't know if they just expected something of him that he isn't. Like they thought it was going to be something else. I don't know, because goes to Florida, really good there. Comes here to Toronto, really good here. It's like, I mean, hey, early, but I don't know. Yeah, seriously. Another thing I want to kind of just bring up here tonight, Hakanpaa plays his first game, his season debut. You guys, I mean, we text throughout the game. You guys were thinking the same thing I was. I think everyone in the chat was thinking the same thing. David G here says, Brad Marsh was faster than Hakanpaa. I don't even know that reference, but all right. Hakanpaa looked slow, but I don't think he looked terrible here tonight. What'd you make of him jumping in for the first NHL game since March?
Well, I was caught by surprise that he was in the lineup. I thought there would be a little bit more of a heads up, and all of a sudden
I said that in the pregame video I did too. I was like, I don't think he's going to play tonight. 5:30 he's playing. I'm like, okay.
It was just like, bang, you thought there'd be kind of an announcement or something. Maybe they wanted to keep it under the radar since he hasn't played in so long, and just kind of you found out once you saw the game sheet go in. But yeah, 8 months for a 6-foot big man. 8 months of not playing hockey is a long time. He has not gone 8 months, I would bet, of not playing hockey since before he ever played hockey the first time when he was like 5 or 4. I bet you he's not been off the ice for 8 months. Yeah. Add on to that a very significant knee injury where I don't care what you do off the ice for your rehab and stuff, you have no ability of testing it to that level than getting into an NHL game. There's just no way to do it. It's like MMA or boxing when you're sparring or something. It's like, yeah, that's great, but you can't replicate the real playing with real bullets, playing a real game, a real match, like just getting into it. So did he look phenomenal and did he look fast? No. Should anyone have thought he would? I think you'd be ridiculous to assume he'd look anything but a bit rusty. And time will tell on if he comes around or not, if he can get his speed up. But I can't tell people enough how little of justice the television does for the NHL and how goddamn fast it is. And it has only got exponentially faster since when I played, and I was barely fucking keeping up at the time. But I'm telling you, it's buzzing out there. Like what's happening, especially as a defenseman, trying to keep up with everything that's developing and be in front of it and being able to move and get your body into the positions that it needs to be is extremely difficult. And for a guy of that size with a big time knee injury who hasn't touched anything for real in 8 months, I think it's wild to judge him based on that game. And I still have high hopes that he can get under it. But I'd be remiss if I were saying I expected him to be better than he was tonight. And he wasn't even bad. There was just times where he looked a little bit out of his element and like he did not have his game speed.
Yeah, that was kind of where I was going to go with it. Like just my thoughts on him in general. And I knew people were going to ask me, so I wanted to let you take reins on that. I figured you'd have some ideas about it as well and could speak to it more than I could, especially with the speed and getting back up to it. I don't think he looked bad at all. There was one moment I was like, oof, he got turnstiled at the blue line. Like, fuck. Like, yeah, that one's going to haunt you a little bit, but doesn't end up in the back of your net. It's a chance. It gets eaten up by Joseph Wall, who had a good, pretty decent night himself there anyways. So I thought he looked fine. Interested to see how he keeps things going. But anything else get you horned up here tonight that you want to talk about, Rosie?
Not that comes to mind. Just, an electric, it's kind of been, I don't want to say boring hockey, but it's kind of been some ho-hum stuff. And
Yeah.
especially coming off that Ottawa game, I mean, people say that, maybe if you're upset about that game, you didn't give Ottawa enough credit. I'm sorry. Whether they played well or not, that Leaf game was absolutely everyone's brain turned off. And tonight, it wasn't that way. They didn't have their best stuff in the first 40, no question. But to have like an absolute fireworks finish like that, and two got disallowed, one for Washington as well, I understand. But just the fact they're creating those chances and getting actual quality scoring chances to the point where they need to go upstairs to even figure out if it's a goal or not, and they get it into overtime, and then they just, I mean, they had the puck. They had the puck for the first 2 minutes of overtime.
Yeah.
They win it cleanly, and they seem to be more understanding of how that 3-on-3 works, and they're in much more control than I would say they were in years past. And it's just nice to have the Leafs, my group chat's like planning the parade again. It's just this. The reason we think we are like this is because of how Jekyll and Hyde this team is.
Yeah.
But it's nice that they went against the grain for once and had a big comeback, got it into overtime, finished the job in overtime. Like, I can imagine the Washington Capitals were quite stunned over that one. And this should be a team who's capable of doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, I saw a tweet. Carberry not very impressed with the Capitals' performance down the stretch there in the third period tonight. But you want another thing? Last kind of thing I wanted to touch on here as well. We didn't really talk about Berube too much and just kind of his demeanor and the impact he's had. We talked about the impact in the systems. One thing that's been a breath of fresh air for myself, like I come on here for the post games, I rip out my thoughts on the game, and then kind of towards the end, I get all the quotes that come out. So a lot of time I'll break some of those down just in real time. No context either, which is just a fucking dangerous game to play. I'm just reading some shit. But he's just honest about stuff, right? It's like, Wall should have had that one. Willie can't do that. Bad play there. What a mistake. Like, it just says it how it is, and it's like, wow, thank you. And then I feel like it kind of influences the players to speak like that a little bit more. I heard you guys on the morning show talk about JT's comments from last night, like, whatever. But I also said on last night's show, I was like, at least he kind of said that, right? He said, not good enough. Like, before, he's cloaked kind of how he's approached some of these things a little bit more. And that one, he was outright like, wasn't good enough. Nylander said, you know what? I'm glad Berube did that. Sometimes we need that, etc. Tonight, Berube says in the post game, Lorentz and Knies goals or plays should have been goals. Just flat out. I'm reading a quote here. He just flat out says it. I like how he says that. Like, we would have had stuff from Keefe before. It would have been cryptic. It would have been like, some stuff could have gone the other way here tonight. I don't know about those ones. Berube just goes in there. Should have been goals. Okay.
Yeah. And that's the thing about him. Like, he's not, people want to paint him with a brush and say he's this way or he's really intense or he's a hard ass and all this stuff. He's really not. He's passionate, as you can see behind the bench. And tonight I was trying to think, like, he was kind of losing it for a bit there. I mean, there was like, they went upstairs over things he probably didn't agree with like 3 times. So he was getting pretty fired up behind the bench. I was trying to remember if he was like that when I played or not. And I can't remember, because if a coach is just losing it on a ref behind you when you're on the bench, it's kind of inconsequential. You're just like, yeah, let's see what they do about this. Like, I can't really remember, but one thing's for sure is he's just a straight shooter. And yeah, when you mentioned his comments as a coach, more often than not, a coach is going to play like the mental mind game. How is this going to be perceived? And if I throw this bit in there, that might get through as what I mean, but I got to protect against not making it sound like this. And you get this bullshit, right?
Yeah.
And I get why players do it and Johnny T does it and whatnot, but for a coach, like, isn't that the easiest way? Like, he's just literally is completely honest with everything. And like, how do you fault a guy for that? I don't think you can. And how does he get himself into trouble doing that? I don't think you really can. Like, just say what you think. It's honest. And he's all about accountability, and he's all about, calling it like it is. And the whole point if Willie's making these turnovers that are unacceptable, why not just say, yeah, those turnovers are unacceptable from Willie? Because the first thing he's going to do at practice the next day is skate around with him individually and say, hey, Willie, those turnovers, they can't happen, man. They're unacceptable. Like, what were you thinking on that one? And we need to get you to a point where you're thinking, do this with the puck rather than that stuff. And maybe those are old habits, and they'll have a talk, and Willie will be like, yeah, fuck. Yeah, shit, I got to get on board with that. It's like, it's so hard to argue with, man. And it's a breath of fresh air. And yeah, I'm very much team Berube.
I thought he was going to, I thought there was a chance he was going over the boards when the Knies goal was called off at that point. Like, the Lorentz one was questionable. The Knies one, I'm like, I was watching it, I'm like, I don't know how you're going to turn this, how you're going to not call this a goal. It looked like his stick was down into a good enough place, but no goal. Like, camera cuts to Berube. I'm like, oh, fuck, that ref might be in trouble.
It's so weird. Like, why isn't there a camera at the level? Like, there's cameras in boards, and there's all these weird ass freaking views. Like, is it still crossbar and down? Is that what the rule is still?
It's okay. You want to talk about doesn't make sense? It's crossbar, as far as I understand, okay? It's crossbar and down, unless he's a certain distance away, in which case it's shoulder and down.
Oh, fuck. Talk about giving
right?
It up for interpretation, but I always think of it as crossbar. He was close enough to decide if it was crossbar or not, but the goddamn camera angle, I need an angle exactly at crossbar level that's an HD camera, like NHL. You know how many billions of dollars run through you and your owners, NHL, and your revenue sharing and everything? You can't get a friggin' camera. Like, it's in the best interest of your league to get these calls right. It's like that Lorentz goal. I can't tell if that came off his stick when his knee's coming up, or if it was right off his pant. But when they zoom in a tiny bit, it looks like it's on a fucking Nokia flip phone. Like, NHL, let's get it. If you're going to get it right, get it right. Throw a camera in every barn at level, and an HD one that hangs right down so you can see all that shit clearly. Like, how hard is it? But now 2 goals. I don't even know if they got the call right or not. When I looked at it 10 times in super slow-mo, that's a problem.
Hey, man, we're living way, way behind the times here in North America. I mean, think about it. We've got a sport that's probably one of the biggest in the entire world that has 2 guys holding sticks with chains attached to them to tell you whether it's a first down or not.
That is true.
We got VR over there in Europe. These guys got it down to a science where there's breaking planes on virtual reality lines and soccer balls crossing lines, and we're moving chains and paper lines to determine.
I was going to say the NFL gets it right with their cameras and stuff, but that old school, let me just get this old fat guy to spot the ball where he thought it probably was.
The fuck are we doing? Good. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of improvements that need to be made. That's one of them, but good game for the Leafs here tonight. Rosie, I appreciate you stopping by as well. Another victory for you on the post-game show. I mean, you chose to come on here after the fact, but still.
I'm wedging my way in here. Sorry to steal your thunder, my brother. I'm going to take off, but thanks for having me on. I enjoyed it, and it's fun doing them after a win once in a while, too.
Yeah, much different vibe. Chat's all positive here as well. But Rosie, you're welcome anytime. Thank you for coming on here. And you're back tomorrow morning. You're on again with Nick at 11.
Absolutely, 11 Eastern.
Jamie
Tune in
McLennan.
On the YouTubes. Yeah, Jamie McLennan in the morning. We'll break down everything else about that game and that wild comeback win.
There you go. That is Jay Rosehill hopping on here for the Leafs Nation After Dark. We appreciate him. As always, catch him tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern time for another edition of Leafs Morning Take. Thank you, Rosie, for doing that as always. All right, let's continue on with it. We've got some more segments to get to throughout the rest of the show here. Before we wrap this one up, we got to get to our best bet. We've got to get to our play of the game. We've got to get to grade of the game. And I think at this point, most importantly, because you guys were sending it here in the chat as well throughout the entire time, the smelling salts. We got to 50 likes on the stream. Something I've done for a few years here now, and something I guess we'll continue to do since you guys like it so much. Keep liking the stream. We get to 100, we'll do it for the second time, but 50, don't want to just steal Rosie's thunder and do the smelling salts while he's on there, obviously. We want to give the floor to the man who scored 5.5 NHL goals, and then I'll do the rest of the stuff after the fact. Thank you guys for liking the stream. That's 50 likes. Let's do it. Oh, that'll wake you up. if you weren't awake from that Leafs victory here at 11:30 p.m. on a Wednesday, a comeback victory, there you go. That'll do it. That one hit hard. Oh, my eyes. Oh my God. All right. Let's go. Let's get on with the show here. I've got a ton of energy after that win. I think it's the Leafs energy, the Leafs win that's giving me this energy here. Rosie hopping on, giving me some extra energy as well. I want to get to a couple of things. Let's start with our play of the game. Play of the game here. Rosie kind of looks like Bubbles and Zack looks like Julian. I don't know about that one, but all right. Let's get play of the game. I think play of the game for me has to be the Nylander goal, and it honestly has nothing to do with Nylander other than him being right place, right time, and being able to tap that one in backdoor. Matthew Knies putting pressure on the forecheck, not giving up on the play, hauling ass back to get back there after Tom Wilson, turning around after picking up the puck. I don't know about you guys. I feel like we were all probably looking at it kind of the same way there. Was like, he's going to shoot it. And then it was like, okay, he's not going to shoot it. And in those like 3 seconds that he's walking towards the net, it's going through my mind, he's going to pass this one across. He's going to force it. And then he doesn't. And he pulls it, makes a nasty move on Thompson, gets the backhand off. It actually goes through him and hits the post, bounces across the Nylander, he scores. It's good hockey play to get in there hard on the forecheck. Pressure causes turnovers, steals that one, turns around, goes the other way, has enough patience to not just force it and throw the thing on net for no goddamn reason. Just a great play all around by Matthew Knies there to lead to that goal. And I mean, it's him who's leading the way there in the third period, in my opinion, at least, or at least giving this team energy in the third period to allow that to happen. So, shout out to Matthew Knies here tonight, and that's going to be my play of the game. Tonight does just have some extra ones that deserve some honorable mentions. Let's start with the Joseph Woll point-blank save on Alex Ovechkin in the overtime period there. That actually ends up leading to the John Tavares goal. I want to just even double-check this because I feel like it maybe even led to an assist for him. I wouldn't be surprised. It did not. But a save from Joseph Woll on an Ovechkin slap shot from right in front of him. That, I was like, I see that puck pop out. It was Mitch got handcuffed at the side of the net where it's like he can't get the puck on his stick. It's in his feet. If he doesn't play it, he's fucked because it's beside the net, and there was Capitals players on him. I think it was Strome there that was putting pressure on. So if he doesn't play it, Strome's probably got it 2 feet away from the net. He tries to kick it, messes up on the kick, like let's call it what it is, but tries to kick it. It goes too far, and then all of a sudden it's pass across to Ovi. He walks down, rips the shot. I'm like, this thing is over. This is Alex Ovechkin. The guy's unbelievably hot to start this season. And no, Joseph Woll comes out, meets him, like watch the play back, comes out, pressures up at Ovechkin, takes away a lot of net, and just says, you're not going to beat me. Go one-on-one, mano-a-mano against him. Makes a great save, kicks it back out. And then it's JT down the other way on the breakaway who is hauling ass after that puck, wins it, goes after it, wins the race to the puck, cuts to the front of the net, and then makes a great move to beat Thompson and cash our anytime goal. On top of that, I mean, I do want to give kudos to the fourth line tonight and the fact that I said in the pregame, like, how the hell is that? Like, the bottom six is not scoring right now. I got tweeted at pregame as well that, like, how does this group score with that bottom six? Like, how are they going to make that happen? And I was like, yeah, like, I don't know. I think it was Brett Perkins there. What odds would you give someone from the bottom six scoring? Like, not good. I don't think that bottom six is a very good shot at scoring. Mind you, they did not get the goal on that one, But they did not get a goal in that one. It gets called off, but I thought it was great effort. I thought they were all over it. Quickly, I was just saw this. Bobbert Gallant tried to do a $10 super chat. Minimum buy-in is $50. Unsubbing, best of luck. Bobbert, first, you don't ever need to super chat. We appreciate them, but you don't need to. Thank you, but you don't need to. Second, it should not be a minimum of $50. So I'll just clarify that as well. I don't think it will ever be a minimum of 50. You can check again. Don't think it's 50. So, yeah. But again, don't unsub. No need to unsub. It should not be, you don't need to super chat. We appreciate the participation anyways. No need to super chat. But if you do want to, it shouldn't be 50. So don't worry about it. Another thing that I think deserves it, but it's a super chat here, so I'll mix this into our play of the game as well. The honorable mentions super chat. Maxentius Decimus, I saw you send this earlier. I wanted to save it because I wanted to talk about it. JT winning that faceoff on that 6-on-4 was amazing. Yes, it was. Johnny T winning that draw was so clutch. He sneakily became added some real clutch moments to this game. That face-off late. Knies draws the penalty. You get the 6-on-4. You're empty. You got the empty net. The other team has free reign at firing pucks at your net because, I mean, that's an underrated facet of the game is like you get a penalty, you pull the goalie, or you get a power play, you pull the goalie. The other team can just fire and there's no icing, nothing. Like you got to chase back and get it. But JT goes below 50% on the night. He wins that draw and gives them the opportunity for that play to happen. Then, on top of that, wins the draw. It's a clutch draw win. Nylander across to Riley. Riley, just a beautiful play across to Mitch Marner, backdoor, and a perfect pass and a perfect finish to tie the game with less than a minute left in the game. 38 seconds. Not a math guy. 38 seconds on that one, and then he buries it, ties the game, sends this thing to OT. Clutch draw to start it, and then it ends up with a tie game for you guys. The other thing would be, another honorable mention, would be the JT pass to Bobby McMahon. If you guys were watching the Leafs Morning Take, which everyone should be, you should be subscribed here to the channel. Hopefully, turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, especially when the boys go live. Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I sent in the chat at the very end. Nick and Rosie were doing best bets at the end of the show, and I was like, Bobby McMahon. It's a Bobby McMahon type night. Well, it was a JT night. JT hustling through, gets the neutral zone, attacks the triangle on the D-man, beats him through, just stick handling all the way through, gets across. Nice pass to Bobby McMahon, who tucks that thing basically into an empty net. Bobby McMahon anytime goal. Cash, plus 400. What a win for us there. If you followed along and saw the morning show, followed along with myself and Nick, who were on that one. I wanted to give credit because that was an amazing play by JT there as well. Like, awesome play, moving his feet, just attack the triangle. You know, when you're a kid and you got the little triangle set up on the ice and they're teaching you go through the triangle. Attack the triangle. Gets through. JT, MVP, Maxentius says, of tonight. Good call. Thank you, Patrick. I appreciate it. Flames Nation, Zack, how do you feel about the adjustments the GM has made to the club? Well, also, if you're not subscribed to this channel, watching the Leafs Morning Show, you should at least be subscribed to our other channels here on the Nation Network as well. Canucks Army, Flames Nation, Oilers Nation, right here, Leafs Nation. It's simple as that. I mean, it's just a click, and you get news from all across the NHL. But Flames Nation, how do you feel about the adjustments the GM has made to the club? I like them. I don't know how people in Calgary felt genuinely about, I don't know how they felt about Tree Living when he was with the Flames. I don't know how the people of Calgary felt. I know that he got a sour rep for how things ended up at the end of his time there. I was a fan of the moves that were made. at the end of his time in Calgary and kind of how he handled the situation that he was given, guys wanting out and basically saying like, hey, we're not signing here. Like, you've got to make do with what you've got. I thought the teams he built were the right style of teams. He got an incredible goaltender. Like, he put the team in a good position. They just didn't get it done. I was excited about him coming here because I thought he's going to get these scorers. He's going to have an opportunity to reshape things. You're not going to be tied to goaltenders or a lot of the defensemen. He basically made it his goal to immediately make the team bigger and tougher. Ryan Reeves brought in here. Adds in this year, Tanev, Ekman Larsson, those guys. Hakanpaa signed, obviously plays his first game here tonight. But the general direction of the team, in my opinion, and maybe I'm a caveman, but is much more geared towards a playoff style of game. So as for the question there, the adjustments the GM has made to the club, I like them. I think this is not as suited for regular season success as we've seen this team have in years past. It's probably not built out the way to, rake in 110, 115 points and lead the Atlantic Division and win President's trophies. But I think it's much more ready and prepared to win first and second rounds, which the team in the past has not been. They're tougher to play against. They're harder down low below the goal line, which is like stupid general hockey shit that we talk about. And people are like, yeah, no shit, Zach, we think of this. But it's like, we haven't done that before. Now we have these heavy bodies and people who are not afraid to go in. Like Alex Steves even starts the game here tonight in his first shift. He's going and chipping the puck in the corner and being the first person to it. You've got guys who are taking hits to make plays. You've got guys who are making their game and their identity much more physical style of play. That's so much more geared towards having success in the playoffs because that's what everyone does to this Leafs team. I'm not going to predict like, oh yeah, this is all easy, we're going to win playoff rounds. But I think the team is at least geared more towards playoff success and what it takes to win when it matters the most than it's been the 7 years prior to. Because I guess this is year 9 of these boys and this is True Living's second year. So the first 7 years, they were highly skilled, could go up and down and play pond hockey with anybody. Now this is much more in the right direction of, hey, we can win. So I've really liked that. I think that they're getting a bad rap for some of the lack of depth scoring right now. Probably fair, but also you're going to get Matthews back. That changes Domi out of first line center, so he goes down to the third line. Probably will have more success there. You just got Dewar back. I think he's an upgrade on Holmberg. He's an upgrade, at least probably on Nick Robertson, in terms of, not skill-wise, but in terms of how he can impact the game. And then, on top of that, you're going to get Pacioretty back probably here as well. It just pushes people down. Probably helps your bottom six. Do they need scoring? Chris Arsenal, they need scoring bad? Yes, they do. I think that getting some of these guys back and moving people down will improve that. If it doesn't, I trust that True Living will make some of the right decisions to go out and identify that and add. I mean, I've been impressed with what he's done so far. I have been. I don't know. I think it's just much more geared towards playoffs, maybe not regular season, and we might be frustrated with some of the shit that we see now for 82 games, but I think he's done a good job. Next thing I want to touch on here in this one, I want to get to our best bet. I'm taking some flack on here from you guys. Maybe not you guys in the chat watching the live show, but people who are watching the pregame, which I hope you guys do watch the pregame, by the way. Every game, 82 games a year, I'm putting out a 10 to 15 minute pregame video, breaking down the lines, what we expect to see, how the other team's been playing, who our goalie is, and I'm giving out a best bet. Best bets so far in the season, we are now 6-13. And while you guys may sit here and say, 6-13, what the fuck is that? We're only down 0.26 units here with another victory tonight with this one. We're not worried about record. That's the last thing I care about. The thing I'm most concerned with right now with this best bet is making money and putting that in our pockets. We got back in the right direction here tonight. Let's break it down. Let's talk about what went right with our best bet segment. And our best bet is brought to you by Bet365, proud partner of the Leafs Nation pregame and the Leafs Nation after dark. Open an account with Bet365 today. Bet on a huge range of markets. Use code NATION, NATION. That's code NATION, NATION. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Make sure to check them out and bet with them. When you are betting and when you are tailing these bets, hopefully you are as well, and following along with unit sizes, because if you are, we are now only down 0.26 units. And I know that's not good enough. We're down money on the season. I understand, but headed in the right direction. We get a win here tonight. Johnny T, anytime goal, plus 210. $50 profited us 105. It gets us back up in the right direction. We are now only down 0.26 units. We were down 1.3 something. 6-13 record on the year. Look, I thought Johnny T was going to have himself a night. He responded in the post game last night in a positive way. I liked what he was I liked what he was saying after the fact. I thought that he was going to show up here through the first two periods. I was like, oh shit, what an idiot. Other than the first goal that he scored, I wasn't supposed to say that word. Sorry, Bet365. I thought that he was going to be like on fire with the play that he made early, and then it kind of dwindled after that. And I'm like, no, maybe another bad bet. But doesn't end up being the case. That overtime goal, he had legs. He had a couple of real good chances. I mean, you pull up the money puck deserve to win a meter, which I will get to Mario Kart. Johnny T, only a 0.15% expected goals, but he was around it there at the end. It was him and Mitch. I'm like, you know what? We've got a shot, and plus 210 ends up cashing. And not only does it cash, but it cashes the overtime winner. Like, what better way to finish your night than having bet John Tavares anytime goal and finishing the game with a comeback overtime victory and your anytime goal scorer wins? Like, that is perfect way to finish the game. Perfect way to finish the game here for these guys. So that one ends up cashing. The other thing, which, I mean, we'll just talk about it briefly, but I brought it up. I said it on the morning show, Bobby McMahon in the chat. I said Bobby McMahon anytime goal feels like a Bobby anytime goal type of night. It's not on the official best bet list, unfortunately, but I bet it. Nick said it. Hopefully you guys bet it. It wins. Bobby is back. There you go. BIB. Bobby is back. Another win for us on that one, if you guys got in on that as well. Chris Arsenal, what's the odds on Riley taking a slapper? Cha-ching. Yeah, fair enough. All right, let's get to our final thing before we wrap this one up tonight. Rosie stopped by. We appreciate him. We broke this one down. Do you guys hear in the chat? Couple super chats. We're 6 likes away from 100 and one more smelling salts before we get out of here as well. But let's get to the final thing. Samurai, Zack, do you play NHL 25? No, I've played NHL 24, have not played NHL 25, but I don't know. Is it worth it? Is it good enough? I've seen a lot of complaints online that there was not a lot of developments to it, so I don't know. I haven't gotten into it. Let's get to our grade of the game. Make sure to like the stream. Not far off here from 100. Grade of the game. You guys send yours in the chat, and we'll also wrap up with what we've got from for our MVP for tonight. But grade of the game. Man. I mean, grade of the game is a hard one for me tonight because honestly, through 40 minutes, it was very strange. It felt like we were potentially going to get... I mean, the first period was like fine, but kind of sleepy. You walk out of that one down 2-1. It's just like, okay, yeah, that's not a great first start. the second line got their teeth kicked in. David Alter tweeted it. 1 shot attempt for Knies, Domi Nylander in the first period. 10 shot attempts against. 0-4 and 4 against in scoring chances. 5 minutes and 21 seconds of time on ice. Like, that was a tough period, but also not awful. Like, it was just weird to watch. Like, the second line stunk, but I wasn't like worried too much. You got on the board there as well, and it's like, okay, the second period was back and forth, and then they scored 2 minutes left, and it's like, oh my god, why do we have to have these end of period goals? And then the third period was incredible. Third period ends up being incredible. As for power play stats, you go 1 for 2. You were 1 for 1 on the penalty kill. You did a great job snuffing that one out there. Goaltending, Joseph Wall here tonight. 24 saves of 27 shots. 889 save percentage is not going to look amazing for him, but he made saves when you needed to. I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm kind of in like a B range where it's like, it was extremely exciting, but if we're going to go to the how did this game actually play out, probably like a B. And it could potentially actually even be lower. I could be even convinced at a B plus, but like, I'll go with the B because I could see either side of those. First 2 periods were ragged. Yeah, like there was like good moments in those, but then there was some holy shit, what are we doing moments. Vangeli brings up as well a good point. So weird period, or weird game, excuse me, with some weird periods, and then an unbelievable third. We're like, okay, cool. Now you walk away with a win. Couple legs, and we get more smelling salts. But final thing that I want to touch on, so our B, yeah, happy ending though. Hey, all right. B is the grade for tonight. MVP tonight, I put in the chat. Gave you guys options. You guys send yours in here as well. But Marner, Knies, Tavares. Those are the options I gave you guys. Marner, Knies, Tavares. Right now, the chat is at 40%. Knies MVP. I saw someone say Wall. I think I got to go Knies here. He is not the focal point in anyone's eyes. He's not going to be the guy that gets looked at. But he led that. I mean, I'm just even like thinking about that third period. I'm just like watching it back in my head there as like thinking about what Knies was doing. Late Leafs Rule says if Knies starts fighting, he could be the new Wendell Clark. Like, I know that that's insane to throw around Wendell Clark's name when you're talking about that, but legitimately, like, obviously not Wendell Clark, but the kid is a force. He is hard to knock off the puck. He is a big, heavy body. He moves well. He doesn't lose battles. He's great with the puck. He makes incredible decisions. He doesn't give up on plays. He's got good hands. He can score goals. Like, we put him on the power play, and all of a sudden the power play's rocking. Knies is really him. Yeah. Like, he is being awesome. And I feel like he was just so heavily involved in that comeback here tonight. I don't know how I personally don't give it to him. So yeah, MVP for Knies here tonight. Final thing, I saw that this is asked of me. Mario Kart asked. I've pulled it up the last couple of times. I'll pull it up for you guys for fun here tonight, because why not? Mario Kart said, Zack, deserve to win a meter. Pull up the deserve to win a meter. Okay, Mario Kart, deserve to win a meter here tonight. For those of you who want to see it and who care about the deserve to win a meter, you'll never believe it. The Toronto Maple Leafs, 68.9% deserve to win a meter. Wow. I feel like, I mean, if we take a gander down here, where does this turn? Yeah. I mean, they're behind. You want to look at like expected goals situation. They are behind basically the entire game. And then, oh, wow. Third period onslaught. There is 40. That's the end of the second period there. And then from that point on, it was like momentum. Uh-oh, Washington shitting their pants. So that is how that one's turned itself around tonight. There's your deserve to win meter. And final thing, we hit 100 likes on the show. We do it every time we hit 50, a set of 50, that is. So thank you guys. Let's get to it here for what we've got. Smelling salts for the final time tonight. Still 250 people watching. I don't know why we can't get to 200 likes, but thank you guys. Let's do it. Final ones. Cheers. If you haven't already, subscribe here. Leafs Nation 401 right here on YouTube. Subscribe to the whole Nation Network. Content network web of stuff that goes on. Whether you're trying to find information about what's going on in the league, or if you're trying to find stuff about each individual team across Canada, you can find it here on the Nation Network and all the shows and channels that we've got. Let's get to it. Thank you guys. Here's the smelling salts for tonight. Boy. Oh. Oi. I see you guys in the chat are also making friends here. That's what this is all about. Community. You guys come here. We're part of this together. Wins, losses, happiness, sadness. We're all doing it together. Thank you guys for watching here tonight. Thanks for sticking with me as I tried to start the show. Apparently did start the show, but also kind of didn't start the show. Was not live to some people, was live to other people. Nick's texting me, are you live? So yeah, tough one, but we get it back on track. We go live. We get Rosie on here. That's good stuff. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Back tomorrow morning for Leafs Morning Take with Nick and Rosie. Jamie Noodles McLennan joining the boys tomorrow. You're going to want to see that one. Make sure to subscribe here. Turn on notifications. This has been Game 18 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season, defeating the Washington Capitals in an electric come-from-behind victory, 4-3 in overtime, moving to 10-6-2 on the season. 10-6-2. Feels much better than 9-6-3 or 9-7-2. 10-6-2. Double-digit wins. Who cares about the other numbers? 10-6-2. Feels good. Thanks for watching. We'll be back very soon for more pregame, postgame content with myself, but Nick and Rosie. Tomorrow morning, 11 a.m., right here on this channel. Thanks for watching. Keep believing. For more content just like this, including game previews, postgame live shows, Leafs Morning Take, Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos. Make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, and drop a like.